This week's quote comes from Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is an astrophysicist, an author, a science communicator as well, studied at Harvard, University of Texas at Austin, and Columbia. I think he's a pretty darn smart guy. So let's see what Neil deGrasse Tyson says to inspire us today. He said this: knowing how to think empowers you far beyond those who only know what to think. Boy, I love that quote.
I love that too. And you talk about astrophysicist. I mean, yeah, this guy's pretty smart. So his quote means that understanding how to think, which means being able to analyze situations, being able to solve problems and actually make informed decisions, gives you a much, much greater advantage than just knowing what to think or following maybe what others say without question. Okay. So when it comes to financially preparing for, as well as living in retirement, this idea, his quote, is absolutely crucial, because if you only know what it is to think, you just might follow generic advice like maybe, hey, you need to be saving 10% of your income in retirement. And while that certainly is good advice, it is not tailored to your unique situation. Instead, it's more of a one size fits all type, solution. But if you know how to think, what you're going to end up doing is analyzing your personal circumstances, like your income, your expenses, what your retirement goals are, what your life expectancy is based on your knowledge of your family history combined with medical data. And you might realize that you actually need to save more than 10%, or that you might invest in specific types of assets that fit your risk tolerance as well as retirement timeline. And you might also explore different investment options, considering risk tolerance and returns, rather than just putting all of your savings into, a standard type retirement account. And then when we're in retirement, actually living in retirement, you might have heard that, hey, you should use that 4% rule, which means that you should withdraw 4% of your retirement savings each year. And if you only know that rule, you might stick to that rule, even if it doesn't suit your situation. But by knowing how to think, you could evaluate your spending needs, your investment returns, as well as potential risks, and then adjust your withdrawal rate accordingly. Okay. Maybe you need to withdraw less to ensure that your money lasts longer, especially if you have, extended longevity in your family history. Or maybe you have enough money that you can actually afford to withdraw more if your investments are doing well. So you're going to consider things like your health, your expected lifespan, the different market conditions, as well as other sources of income like Social Security, pensions, if you're fortunate enough to have one, 401ks or other employer sponsored plans, to determine the best withdrawal strategy for you. And you could also think about ways to adjust your lifestyle or your spending plan if your investments are underperforming, or if unexpected expenses, pop up like they do. Life gets in the way sometimes. But in each one of those examples, being able to think critically and then being able to adapt to those specific needs, it empowers you to make better decisions and potentially achieve a much more secure and comfortable retirement. Matt?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is all about putting a plan in place that's going to be tailored for you. And of course, knowing how to think about all those different things that you just mentioned there, the different risks that go into financial planning, all of the different outside sort of factors that can affect your retirement plan. It really underscores the fact that you need to know rather how to think, not just follow some generic advice of, my Uncle Jim, did this and that was great. And well, it may have worked great for Uncle Jim, but you're not Uncle Jim. Your financial situation is going to be different